Hey guys, on this episode, we run through some recent garage sale pickups, and then we show off some recent sales from our various stores. So stick around. Hello everyone and welcome back into the channel. If you are new here, this channel is all about reselling. My name is Andrew, and along with my wife Jessica, we run a full-time online reselling business named 5 Little Ducks Resale. And during the course of our business, we go to garage sales, thrift stores, and estate sales, where we find items for cheap and then we flip those items online for a profit on sites like Mercari, Poshmark, and eBay. So today's video is going to be much like some of the other ones that you've seen, where we feature some recent garage sale pickups and then we go through some sales from our various stores. So with that being said, let's jump into the garage sale finds. Hello everyone, it is time to walk through this week's pickups from garage sales and thrift stores. So this is kind of an unusual situation in the sense that this is kind of a staged shot, because all of the stuff that you see, even though it's already Monday, has technically already been listed. So we did a lot of work this weekend to try to schedule out some listings. We were doing a kind of a test to see, if we got all the stuff cataloged and photographed and began to get listed, that we could actually start scheduling out our listings, maybe 10 or 15 a day, just to see if that would help with our workflow. So just a little experiment. And so everything that you're looking at was not only picked up this weekend, but also listed and may even be live as I'm recording this video. So let me jump in and show you. So we spent $50 on the stuff here that you see. The pickups this week weren't as good as the ones that you saw in the last video, but not all weeks are going to be home runs. So let's dive in and I'll show you what we picked up. So let's start again back here on the left side, and picked up this 3,000 piece puzzle. Now I normally don't pick up puzzles anymore. If you see my last Vero video, you will probably understand why, but this one was actually kind of cool. Now this was a name brand. This wasn't a cheap Amazon knockoff. It's made by Aquarius, and as you can see here, it is a magical mystery tour of 100 Beatles songs, and it looks pretty darn complex. I wouldn't want to put that together, but again, 3,000 pieces. Paid $3 for it. These things don't go for huge amounts of money, but I figured if I can get more than what I paid for it, that's a win. So I don't remember what I had that listed for. Maybe $24.99. I don't know. Maybe even $20. At another sale, we picked up these things here, which normally don't pick up, but again, this was kind of a benefit sale, and I didn't realize that at the time, so I'm glad that we picked it up. It went to a good cause. But these bunnykins, which they are fine bone china from Royal Dalton. They are English, and they feature these cute little painted bunny scenes. I don't know if bunnykins is like a story collection, or if it's just something that this Royal Dalton has come up with to sell their dishes. Don't know, but there's actually 2 boxes of things. This looks to be like a child's dish set, or maybe even a baby's dish set. Not that you'd give a baby ceramic dishes, but I know they're kind of decorative. But it's a double-handled mug and kind of a deep cereal bowl kind of thing. Paid $5 for this box. And I paid $5 for this box down here, which is similar, but it's different. All of the pieces have different patterns and characters. So this had a dinner plate on it. And I'll move it out of the way, and I'll show you down here if I can. Here we go. There's another bowl and another mug. But again, they're in really good shape. I don't think that they're new, but they did have their original box. So I paid $5 a piece. I actually listed these all together, both sets together, as just a 5-piece set, because the 5-piece sets, or the sets with the greatest number of pieces, seem to do pretty well. So don't know how quickly those will sell. They may have to sit for a while, but we have some space that we can fill up in our garage for inventory. And along those same lines, as a kind of a long tail item, we picked up this Department 56. Now normally these larger display houses, you would think, of like a Christmas Village or a Dickens Village. This happens to be a storybook collection. It was really cool. It was a Noah's Ark. Did not appear to be used, so it was still in the plastic, and the accessory figures were still taped to the inside. Did take it out, did test it, it is all working and there's no breaks in it. The outer box has some, potential water damage, but it hasn't affected anything inside. Paid $5 for that. And, I think I saw one sold. Of course, there's a lot listed. So the sell-through rate on here is pretty low, but like I said, it might just have to sit for a while. But again, the money for that sale was going to a good cause, so didn't mind that at all. At another sale, I picked up this really cool Puzz 3D, this Alpine Castle puzzle. It's still sealed, and it is for vintage. I believe it's from the 90s. Let me check the box here. 1994, yeah, you bet. So pretty cool find there. And at that same sale, I found this vintage set of realistic two-way communication system radios. They look to be in really good shape. I haven't tested these. In fact, this is the only item that hasn't been listed because I haven't been able to test these just yet. So that's going to be my project for tomorrow, more than likely, is to dive into this box and to get this listed. But so those two things here, and let's see here. These two figures I also got at the same sale. Didn't know what they were, but they were vintage. Turns out they don't go for a whole lot, but this was like a Kenner Gargoyles series, and this was from something that I've never heard of called Warriors of Virtue, maybe, possibly. Never heard of it, but I looked them up after the fact, and they're, $5, $6 figures, if that. But I bundled everything together for $15 at that sale. I got this Ford Ranger Chilton manual as well, and some vintage sci-fi books. Now, I picked these up just because I wanted to get a better deal, kind of bundle things. Typically don't do individual sci-fi books. However, this one was in really good shape for its age, so I decided to give that a try. And then these two happen to be in the same series, so I figured I'd give it a shot. But again, I paid $15 for the puzzle, the radios, this stuff, and then these two figures. At another sale, I found this vintage Sticker Fun Peter Pan book. There were only 2 stickers missing, so it's on the first page here. You can see that there's 2 missing, but the rest of the book is actually unused. So all of the places to put stickers, except for that was one of the missing ones. Let's see here. Where's the other sticker pages? Here we go. So we have some over here, all still ready to get peeled and stuck. So whenever I see these vintage activity books that are either very lightly used or not used at all, definitely pick them up. I have some other ones listed as well. Mostly coloring books, but this is the first kind of sticker book that I saw. This was 1989. So definitely vintage, definitely fun. Let's see here. At another sale, picked up this Alice in Wonderland mirror compact. It's metal. I think it was originally sold through Hot Topic, but it's got kind of like a gem faceted face and whatever. Picked it up for $1, not more than a couple of dollars worth on eBay, maybe $5, $7 possibly. But again, it might be something small, quick flip. You never know. I haven't bought one of these in a while, and this was one of those vintage Corning Visions series. It's, of course, the amber glass. This is the 1 liter or 1 quart pan. It does have the non-stick coating at the bottom. Some of them do, some of them don't. This particular one has the coating, and it's in really good shape. Like, there's no scratches in there whatsoever. Even the bottom is fairly scratch-free. That's just kind of probably just water stains on the bottom. One of the things that I didn't remember about this was that once the lid was on and you tilt this, the lid kind of slides off. And I don't know if it's because it's not the right lid, or maybe it's just because they're both glass and they just don't have a lot of grip. But I did note that because I don't remember, and like I said, I've sold these before, but I don't remember the lids coming off so easily. So I just definitely wanted to take note of that as I listed it. So, but for a $3 pickup, again, I don't run across these all that often, and that one was in really good shape, so couldn't resist that. At a local thrift store, I found this cool Lego set. It is new in box, even though the box is kind of damaged. I paid a little bit up for it. I paid $5, And I think they were selling for anywhere between 20 and 25. So I guess that's not a bad ROI. It's a fairly new Lego set. I've never heard of it before, but couldn't pass that up either. Now, the kind of the best find, I think, of the set or the sales days were actually these right here. These animals, and I'll explain why here in just a second, but let me try to get a little bit better glimpse. So we have this set of pigs. It's a kind of a vintage brass set of pigs. We have the mama pig and we have 3 little piglets. They're all, solid brass. Well, I'll do this one first. Cool vintage kind of sitting Garfield from 1981, it looks like. And we have this frosted glass cat. And I picked this up and I was looking at it and I was like, oh, it's a Fenton. So Fenton glass obviously is very collectible. And this cat right here, can do probably about $25 on eBay. It's in really good shape. There's only very, very minor nick on the front, which I did disclose, of course. But the nice thing about that was that this cat, this Garfield cat, and then the pigs, I picked up, I asked how much he was wanting the animals for, and he said 50 cents. And I said, well, 50 cents for each animal, thinking, hey, that's not a bad deal. He says, no, just give me 50 cents total. So I was like, hey, sold. So I currently have the pigs listed for 35. I did see a sold comp for slightly more than that. And then there's a few that were kind of best offers. And so I wanted to list them high and go from there. I have this listed for about 25, and I think this one's listed for 10. So for a 50-cent investment, that seems to be the best ROI pickup for this sale. So I have some other plush, and I mistakenly already put them away. Not that one. That one's live. But we had some plush animals that we picked up at a thrift store, and I don't have those out. I'll kind of flash those up on screen so that you can kind of see. There were some Build-A-Bears. I think we picked up an Ugly Doll, vintage small pound puppy. What else? A couple other miscellaneous things. You'll see them up here on the screen. And of course, last but not least, at that benefit sale, I did find another tub of Legos, which my cat really likes to go into these bins of Legos. Found some Lego Duplo, which is, that, kind of preschool aged, bigger block Legos that do show up on Bricklink. So you can buy these as an individual item in Bricklink stores. And I know that I actually referenced a Lego update in the last video, which I didn't get a chance to do, so I'm actually going to do it just after this segment. But another bin of Legos to go through. As you can see, they're not all Legos because there's something else in here. Did see that there were some minifigs, but probably nothing worthwhile. But I ended up getting this bin for $2. So it's not a full bin, and I have it in this IKEA bag because, as you can see, there's a big chunk taken out of that bin. So to prevent any spillage and lost pieces, that's in the IKEA bag. Oh my goodness, I'm stepping on bubble wrap. So $50 spent and hoping that we will do fairly well. And like I said, I put up the plush, and I guess that's about it for this week's haul. So not as good as last week, but hopefully some good sales yet to come. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of reset this stage, and I'll kind of go through a quick Bricklink store update and show you the progress on that. So hang tight. As I was resetting this table here for the Lego update, I noticed that I neglected to go through these. Picked up a couple of manga anime type books at a sale. I know anime is for animation. That's my mistake. These are the kinds of books that read from right to left, and they're black and white. Some of them do really well. Like I sold one for $20. I picked it up for fairly cheap. These I paid up a little bit more for. I paid $2 a piece. So I have them listed anywhere between maybe 7 to 10 each. So not a huge ROI, but definitely wanted to make sure that I talked about those. So if you ever see these kind of manga graphic novels, definitely look them up. Not all of them are going to be home runs. If you can obviously find multiple volumes within the same series, that's also going to be beneficial. But even these one-offs can sometimes do okay with that. So hang tight, I'll get to the Legos. 1 second. All right, so for those of you who are still watching the video and were hoping to get a Lego update, well, here it is. So if you haven't seen one of my previous videos where it's me kind of thinking about maybe doing a new endeavor, well, it's me talking about potentially opening up a Bricklink store to deal with all of these Legos down here and all of these ones here, and basically sell Legos individually. It's a way to maybe get another stream of income coming in. Probably not big, but it's something. So my thought was, and if you saw the last video where I showed kind of the initial process where I was washing the Legos and sorting by color and all that other stuff. Well, again, I wanted to kind of take this slow because there was a lot of moving pieces, right? A lot of different things going on, and I just didn't want to dive right in, make a bunch of kind of irrational decisions, and then have to do a lot of rework. So the first thing that I did was I went to Walmart and I got some of these kind of shoe bin size bins, right? So the plastic ones. So I thought, well, what are the most kind of common pieces that I might run across that are good size, right? So like ones that are fairly common and they take up a lot of space. So I figured that these bricks would fit that bill, and that's why I put them in these types of bins. So you can see here I have my 2x2s, my 2x3s, 2x4s, and this bin actually has 3 different sets: 2x6, 2x8, and 2x10. Now they are all separated by piece. So here's the 2x8s. And of course, they're all separated. Well, they're not separated by color. So that was the one thing, that was the one big change that I did. So obviously, if I'm going to be searching for a brick, I'm going to obviously just have to dig through and find out whatever color somebody wants. So at this stage of the game, because I don't have a lot, because, you know, I figured that I can probably just dig through this fairly easily, that this would probably suffice. Now, if it comes that I happen to find, you know, thousands of other bricks and over time build up this collection, well, this might not work for me anymore. Or I might have to kind of separate this kind of thing up into maybe warmer colors or colder colors. I don't know yet, right? This is all still a work in progress. But my first thing was just to try to start some sort of separation where all of the same piece types are together and they're all kind of mixed in, you know, different colors, and that's fine. So as the piece types get smaller and smaller is where it becomes a little bit more of a challenge, because, you know, we're dealing with now, you know, 1x4 plates. So all of the 1x4 plates that I had in all the different colors are now here, and so on and so forth. I have my 2x4 plates, and over here I have my 1x2 bricks and my 1x4 bricks. So again, all of this is going to have to get separated into some other better logical system. And that's where this comes into play. So this is the first of presumably many different kind of Lego divider drawers that I am going to now move these into. So as an example, let's just say that I have my sort of textured little 1x2 bricks. I can now put them in a drawer, and I have drawer dividers, which can actually separate these up into 6 or 12 compartments. And so I might be able to split all of these up into a single drawer. And so I'm going to have to label all these drawers. I have labels over here, which I picked up to label all these drawers. Again, this is only going to be one of probably many cabinets that I have. And I'm in the process of redoing a room upstairs where all this is going to lie. So again, a lot of moving pieces. But again, to separate all these out, to notate and count all of the different colors. And yeah, sometimes differentiating colors is kind of a pain, and that's not a new thing, especially with grays. If you know, you know. And I actually have transferred all of this information into a digital sort of spreadsheet in a program called Brickstore, which then I will use to upload that into the Bricklink API when it becomes time to open up my store. So not only have I cataloged all of these, but I have it in a digital form, which I can then upload. So again, it's a very, very, very slow process. This is only a very small percentage of the bricks that you saw that I was washing before. I started with easy bricks. I started with easy plates, things that were unmodified. So, you know, very easily identifiable pieces. I haven't even begun to do like the little ones with clips or bars or accessories or minifigs or, you know, anything along those lines. I mean, it's going to take forever. But again, the idea is to get this cataloged into the spreadsheet program, eventually into more drawers like these. And then of course, these will go upstairs where everything will be hopefully easily found. So for instance, if I get an order for a piece, it says it's in drawer, you know, D whatever, come up here, find it, pack it, and be good. That's the ultimate hope. I am making some baby steps forward along this process, which is good. That was my main goal. And of course, you know, it's kind of every time we get one of these, it's doing the whole process over. But hopefully, if I am smart about it and think about it, you know, and kind of get a process down, then it won't be as bad with each successive bin that I buy. So that's kind of where everything sits. And kind of to top things off, and watch the mess here, but in this bin, I actually have bags of brand new Legos. So things that are still sealed in their original bags as if they came out of boxes. And so all of these Lego pieces haven't even been touched, whereas all of these are used. And so again, that's going to require different bins and possibly different naming convention and so on and so forth. So both new and used bricks have to follow the same sort of logic, but they have to be separated so that we don't mix them up. Because you can actually charge more for unused bricks than you can for used bricks, as you can imagine. So again, a lot of moving pieces, no pun intended. Yeah, this is probably gives some people out there nightmares, but there is some sort of refreshing sort of feeling to kind of start with something like this, which is utter pure chaos, and kind of end up with something that's very organized. So there is something Zen-like about it for sure. Now, that only might be an initial feeling. I might feel completely differently after I've been doing this longer and longer. If you've ever seen a Lego seller's videos, there's a lot of them out there, surprisingly, but they have, you know, garages filled with these kinds of bins, and it's almost overwhelming to look at. So anyway, that's kind of a brief overview of where I have been, where I am now, where I'd like to be. The Bricklink store is not officially open yet. I am still going through all of the Legos, and you know, that's the challenging thing, because I really only do this portion of it whenever I have free time. So when I'm not sourcing, or when I'm not listing, or maybe Jess and the kids are out one evening at church or something, and so that's kind of my time to get the Legos and to start sorting and to do all the grunt work that comes along with that. So anyway, that's where I'm at there. So thanks for watching this far. I hope you guys are still awake, and let's move on to the next clip. Thanks for watching. So at this point in time, let's go ahead and jump into the sales portion of the video. As always, we will start with eBay, since that has the most sales from this time period. And we're actually looking at May 1 to May 11 for this duration. So we're actually doing about a week and a half. And this puts me right back on track with our video production schedule. So without further ado, let's jump into eBay. So jumping off the top of the list is this new with tags, Rafaela, women's size 8, modern fit flare leg stretch pants. We took a best offer of $12.87 plus shipping. This next item was featured in that vintage Star Wars toy video. This was the 1978 Star Wars Death Star playset for parts or repair. We took a best offer of $82.79 plus shipping. The next item was this Lego Harry Potter Characters of the Magical World Visual Dictionary. This did include the minifig, and it sold for $4.99 plus shipping. Now this next item was a little bit of a long tail item, but it did eventually sell. This was the Paul Oxman Publishing Sprint Car Race. It was a 12 fluid ounce coffee mug, and it sold on a best offer of $4.49 plus shipping. This next item was a patch from our Boy Scout and Girl Scout haul. This was the vintage Boy Scouts 2-inch Scout rank embroidered patch. This ended up selling for $1.99 plus shipping. Following that was this U.S. Army 1.75-inch golden metallic Eagle enlisted female badge, which ended up selling for $7.99 plus shipping. Up next was this pair of Levi's pants. These were Levi's 515 bootcut, women's size 8 in dark wash, and these ended up selling for $16.99 plus shipping. This next item came from our large Transformer portion of the Lego Mania haul, and this was the Transformers Revenge of the Fallen Stalker Scorponok deluxe figure and manual, and it sold on a best offer of $7.25 plus shipping. Up next, another pair of pants. This was a pair of Democracy pants. These were women's size 10, gray stretch denim ankle jeans, and these sold for $19.99 plus shipping. And following that was another Transformers. This was from the Transformers animated series. This was the Deluxe Lockdown Decepticon figure, which sold for $44.99 plus shipping. Next up, we had the Stampin' Up! Sets. This was the Icing on the Cake, a 20-piece clear mount stamp set. Had balloons, frosting, and B-Day stamps. This sold for $9.99 plus shipping. Up next was this U.S. Army dress uniform shoulder cord. This was new in package, and it sold for $9.99 plus shipping. Following that, we had this 2004 Beanie Baby. This was truly the I Love You Valentine's Day bear. This sold for $4.99 plus shipping. Now this next item was incorrectly identified by me in one of the last videos. As I was going through the garage sale pickups, I called this an espresso mug, which I thought it was, but as it turns out, it's a Christmas ornament. This was the Starbucks You Are Here, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania 2-ounce mini mug ornament. Didn't come with the ribbon, but it sold for $14.99 plus shipping. Now, I'm a sucker for vintage calculators, so when I see them in an estate sale, I'll try to pick them up. This one ended up not working, but it still sold anyway. This was the vintage Novus 850 personal calculator, again for parts or repair only. This ended up selling for $4.99 plus shipping. Next up was this vintage 1985 Ertl pullback and go Thomas the Tank engine. Of course, it was die-cast, the #1 blue train. This ended up selling for $12.99 plus shipping. Following that, we had this new with tags, blue Louisiana State University embroidered strapback hat. This ended up selling for $9.99 plus shipping. Up next was another long tail item, which I'm glad it finally sold. This was a Despicable Me reversible double-sided minion comforter. This ended up selling for $18.99 plus shipping. Following that was this vintage 1970s Fisher-Price Little People, Bert from Sesame Street. He sold for $2.99 plus shipping. And up next was this vintage set of 8 R.L. Stine young adult horror novels. These ended up selling for $24.99 plus shipping. Up next was another item from our vast Lego Mania haul, but it wasn't Legos, this was Star Wars. This was the 2010 Hasbro Star Wars The Clone Wars Naboo Star Skiff with Anakin Skywalker figure. This sold for $19.99 plus shipping. Now these next items are a big bolo if you can find them. This was a set of 4 vintage Shenango China Mobile Oil logo coffee cups. Now this set of 4 ended up selling on a best offer of $100 free shipping. Following that, we had this lot of 5 Disney Junior hardback books, and together these sold for $9.99 plus shipping. Up next was this vintage 1970s Donald Duck Disney Collector Series Pepsi glass, and this sold for $3.99 plus shipping. Now this next item was an unexpected find at the bottom of that vintage Star Wars toy lot. So there was a number of unidentified pieces that I pulled out of there, and this happens to be one of them. This was a vintage 1983 original G.I. Joe Gung-Ho grenade launcher rifle, and by itself sold for $14.99 plus shipping. Now, I didn't think it would take long for this next item to sell, and I was correct. This was the vintage 1970s Fisher-Price Play Family Castle, which had the dragon and the other accessories. This ended up selling for the full asking price of $149.99 plus shipping. And ironically enough, I got feedback from the buyer today that said it arrived in great condition, and he was very happy. This next item came from that big vintage flatware find that I showed off in one of the recent pickups. This was the Merchandise Service stainless steel dinner fork in the Versailles pattern. This ended up selling for $5.99 plus shipping. Next up was some makeup. This was a set of 2 L'Oreal Infallible Longwear Shaping Stick Foundations in the cocoa shade. These together sold for $21.98 free shipping. Following that was this New Era 940 Tampa Bay Buccaneers red embroidered strapback hat, and it sold for $9.99 plus shipping. Up next was another Transformers figure. This was Mudflap from the Revenge of the Fallen series. He was a Legends class, which did not come with any instructions, and he sold for $7.99 plus shipping. Following that, we had this U.S. Army driver's badge, which featured the driver-W and mechanic bars in bright chrome finish. This sold for $7.99 plus shipping. Up next was kind of another Transformers sale, but this was a little bit different. These were accessories only. This was the 2008 Transformers Universe Air Raid, Loose Blaster Guns, and Energon Star. And together these sold for $4.99 plus shipping. In the last eBay sale of the video was this 2016 Sealed Sonic Wacky Pack Scooby-Doo Mystery Machine toy. And this sold for $5.99 plus shipping. So a lot of different kinds of items being sold from eBay. So I love that when that happens. We had some lower cost ones, we had some more expensive ones, and so all around some good sales. So let's go ahead and jump over to Mercari, and we will start with this. This was the vintage 1997 Rugrats Nickelodeon Kids Snapback hat, and this ended up selling for $15 plus shipping. Now this next item is a little bit of a puzzle to me. Now when I listed it on eBay, I immediately got a number of watchers, and by the time this sold, I ended up having 26 watchers on this item, and I was surprised that it didn't sell on eBay after sending out a number of offers, but it did end up selling on Mercari. This was the My Little Pony G4 Diamond Mint Brushables. It was a water cutie, which meant that it had water inside that you could see, and it ended up selling for $13 plus shipping. Next up, we had this Children's Place Double XL Pleased to Meet You Funny Humorous t-shirt. Ended up selling this for $8 plus shipping. Next up, we had this vintage lot of 3 New Berlin Company cross-stitch ornament kits. These were new old stock, still sealed, and these together sold for $7.50 plus shipping. Next up, we had this WWE Mattel Elite Series number 49 Randy Orton, the RKO Legend Killer. It was a 7-inch wrestling figure, and it sold for $14 plus shipping. Now this next item, I'm not going to lie, I was a little bit nervous about shipping this, and I was praying that it arrived safely. This was a vintage 10-inch ceramic spooky Halloween tree with ghost and owl. It was a light-up decoration, so it had a hollow center, and this ended up selling for $32 plus shipping. And yes, I got a note from the buyer saying that it arrived safely, so I was very thrilled to hear that. And the final Mercari sale of the video was this Ty Beanie Babies Nibbly the Bunny Rabbit, and he ended up selling for $5 plus shipping. And finally, that leads us to our Poshmark store, where we only have 2 remaining sales, so we'll dive right in. The first of which was this pair of Asics Gel Kayano 26 women's size 8 running shoes, and these ended up selling for $25 plus shipping. And the final Poshmark sale, which is the final sale of today's video, was this 2016 Monster High How Do You Boo G2 series 11-inch Frankie Stein doll. She ended up selling for $12 plus shipping. Well guys, we have reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed those garage sale pickups. Of course, watch for those in a future What Sold segment. And again, if you like this sort of content, if you learned something today, go ahead and click the like button below. And if you wouldn't mind, even consider possibly subscribing to the channel. That would really help us out. So with that, thank you again for watching all the way to the end, and I will see you next time.